If you are watching this, you likely know the difference between being tired and being truly fatigued. Tiredness is what happens after a long day of work. It is cured by a good night of sleep. Chronic fatigue is different. It is a bone-deep heaviness that feels like you're walking through water. It is a fog that caffeine cannot touch and sleep does not fix. You wake up just as exhausted as when you lay down. In the medical world, this is a complex puzzle, but in the readings of Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, this state was often described very simply. It was a system clogged with its own debris, a body where the coordination between the elimination systems and the nervous system had collapsed. And for this specific state of deep depletion, Cayce prescribed one of his most famous yet most misunderstood remedies, the Castor Oil Pack. Now, before you dismiss this as just a simple skin treatment or a spa ritual, you need to understand the gravity of what Cayce was actually suggesting. He did not view this pack merely as a way to soften the skin. He described it as a method to alter the vibratory rate of the very cells in your body. He claimed that the application of this specific oil, combined with heat, could penetrate deep into the abdomen to stimulate the lymphatic circulation, dissolve the dross or toxins in the system, and reset the autonomic nervous system from a state of chaotic stress to a state of deep repair. Today, we are going to do a deep dive into exactly why this works, the science that is finally catching up to Cayce's vision, and the precise step-by-step protocol you need to follow to do this tonight. This is not a quick 30-second fix. This is a medical ceremony for your body. To understand why this works, we must look at the substance itself. Castor oil is derived from the castor bean, and in ancient times it was referred to as Palma Christi, or the palm of Christ, because of its renowned healing abilities. Chemically, it is unique. It is rich in rhinoleic acid, a fatty acid that has a molecular weight allowing it to penetrate the transdermal layer, the skin barrier, deeper than almost any other oil. But Cayce wasn't looking at the chemistry, he was looking at the vibration. He taught that every substance carries a frequency. The frequency of castor oil, according to the readings, resonates with the frequency of the human lymphatic system. When you are suffering from chronic fatigue, your lymphatic system is usually stagnant. Unlike the heart, which has a pump to move blood, the lymphatic system has no pump. It relies on movement and breath. If you are sedentary, stressed, or shallow breathing, the lymph stops moving. It turns from a flowing river into a stagnant swamp. This swamp accumulates cellular waste, dead bacteria, and metabolic ash. This toxicity inflames the system and drains your energy. You feel tired because your body is using all its available energy just to manage this internal toxicity.
This is where the pack comes in. By placing a heated pack over the abdomen, specifically the liver and the Peyer's patches, which are dense clusters of lymphoid tissue in the small intestine, you are essentially jump-starting the body's garbage disposal unit. The heat draws blood to the surface. The oil penetrates and stimulates the lymph. The combination forces the body to start moving that stagnant debris out. It is a mechanical flush of the system. But there is a second layer to this, which is the nervous system. Cayce often located the source of nervous fatigue in the solar plexus. He called the solar plexus the brain of the emotional body. When we are in a state of chronic fight or flight, the solar plexus locks up. It becomes tight and rigid. This cuts off the flow of energy to the lower organs and prevents deep diaphragm breathing. The castor oil pack acts as a sedative to the solar plexus. The warmth and the oil force this center to relax. When the solar plexus relaxes, the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, can finally turn on. This is why many people fall asleep within minutes of applying the pack. It is flipping the master switch from survive to heal. So, how do you perform this ritual correctly? Precision matters here. Cayce was very specific about the materials. You cannot use synthetic fabrics. You need wool flannel or unbleached cotton flannel. Wool is preferred in many readings because energetically, wool creates an electrostatic charge that helps drive the frequency of the oil into the body. Synthetic fabrics block this flow. You also need high-quality, cold-pressed, hexane-free castor oil. Do not buy the cheap industrial versions found in plastic bottles at the hardware store. This is going into your body. Here is your protocol for tonight. Prepare your space first. This is a messy process if you are not careful, and castor oil stains everything it touches. Lay down an old towel or a plastic sheet on your bed or couch. You will need a heating pad or a hot water bottle. Cayce preferred wet heat, like a hydrocollator, but a hot water bottle is the next best thing. Electric heating pads are acceptable, but be mindful of the electromagnetic fields. If you use one, keep it on a low setting. Take your wool flannel cloth. It should be folded into 2 or 3 thicknesses and large enough to cover your entire abdomen, from the bottom of your rib cage to the top of your hip bones. This covers the liver on the right side, the stomach, the solar plexus in the center, and the majority of the small intestine. Place the cloth in a bowl or a glass container and pour the castor oil over it. You want the cloth to be saturated, wet with oil, but not dripping. It should feel heavy and thick, like a wet sponge. Now, lie down on your back. Place the oil-soaked flannel directly onto your skin. It will feel cool or room temperature at first.
Cover the flannel with a piece of plastic, old saran wrap, or a dedicated plastic sheet to prevent the oil from getting on your heat source. Then, place the hot water bottle or heating pad on top of the plastic. Pull a blanket over yourself. You are now in the cocoon. You must remain here for a minimum of 45 minutes, though 60 minutes is ideal. This duration is critical. It takes time for the heat to penetrate and for the pores to open fully to accept the oil. But what you do during this hour is just as important as the pack itself. You cannot lie there scrolling on your phone, watching the news, or worrying about your to-do list. If you do that, you are keeping the solar plexus tight, fighting the very medicine you are applying. Cayce instructed that the time under the pack should be used for prayer, meditation, or what he called constructive imagination. Visualize the heat from the pack as a golden light entering your solar plexus. See it melting the gray, stagnant energy in your liver and gut. Imagine that light traveling down your legs and up your spine. Use an affirmation if it helps, something like, "Divine forces, flow through me and renew this vessel." You are signaling to your body that it is safe to let go. Do not be surprised if you feel emotions rising. As the solar plexus unlocks, old anger or grief often surfaces. This is a good sign. Let it flow out. Do not suppress it. When the hour is up, remove the heat and the plastic. Peel the flannel off your skin. You can store this flannel in a glass jar or a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator. It can be reused 20 to 30 times. You do not need to wash it after every use. Just add a little more fresh oil next time. Now, look at your skin. It will be oily and sticky. Cayce specifically recommended cleaning the area with water containing a teaspoon of baking soda. The baking soda alkalizes the skin and cuts through the grease better than soap, neutralizing the acidity that may have been drawn out through the pores. Let's talk about the schedule, because you don't do this once and expect a miracle. Chronic fatigue is a cumulative condition. It requires a cumulative cure. Cayce typically recommended using the packs in cycles. A common cycle is 3 days on, 4 days off. Use the pack Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, then rest for 4 days. Or use it every other day. The body needs the rest days to process the release of toxins that the pack has stimulated. If you do it every single day without a break, you might experience a healing crisis, headaches, or grogginess, because you are mobilizing toxins faster than you can eliminate them. Listen to your body. If you feel lighter and more rested after the first cycle, continue.
If you feel groggy, drink more water. Alkaline water with lemon is best, and take a break for a few days. Elimination is key. You must be having daily bowel movements if you are doing oil packs.
If you are constipated and release toxins from the lymph, they have nowhere to go but back into the bloodstream. Ensure your pathways are open. There are a few cautions to keep in mind. Do not use heat with castor oil packs if you are pregnant, as it can stimulate the uterus. Do not use it during heavy menstruation, as it can increase the flow, and do not use it over active, open wounds. But for the vast majority of people suffering from that crushing, unshakable fatigue, this is one of the safest, most potent tools in the Cayce pharmacopoeia. When you finish your session tonight, try to go straight to sleep. Do not jump back into work or bright screens. You have just sedated your nervous system. Ride that wave into a deep, restorative sleep. Many people report that after the third night of the cycle, they experience a quality of sleep they haven't had in years, a sleep where they actually wake up refreshed. This is the power of the Palma Christi. It is not magic, it is simply the law of vibration applied to biology. You are providing the external frequency and the internal environment for the body to remember how to heal itself. So tonight, put down the phone, turn off the lights and prepare your pack. Treat it with the reverence of a ritual. Reclaim your energy, not by forcing yourself to push harder, but by allowing yourself to receive the deep, warm, healing support that this ancient remedy offers. Your body knows how to recover. It just needs you to provide the conditions. Give it the oil, give it the heat, and give it the time, and watch the fog begin to lift.